He refused to call me by my name, so I stopped calling him Dad. That was the moment something broke. Something quiet, but deep. After months of carrying the weight of our thesis, alone, I realized I wasn't just drowning in deadlines. I was being erased. And this time, I couldn't let that happen. I'm a college student in a small program, just 8 of us in the cohort. With a group that size, you get to know each other fast. Too fast. We were assigned thesis partners, and I ended up with someone I'd worked with before. Let's call her Elle. I already knew she had a habit of leaving things to the last minute, but she always managed to scrape by. I figured we'd make it work. That was my first mistake. We both work night shifts, which is tough. But she also has a kid, and I respected that. I knew she had a lot on her plate, and I wanted to be understanding. So I gave her grace, again and again. We were supposed to split the interviews, 3 of them, each an hour long. I managed to finish mine, despite everything. Her, constantly unavailable. When it came time to transcribe them, we split the work again. She never touched hers. I did the entire transcription alone. Every minute, every word. I didn't say anything, just wanted to keep us from falling behind. I figured, okay, maybe she'll pick up the slack next time. The next phase was encoding, the most grueling part of the paper. Hours of mindless, careful, technical labor. We agreed to split it. I kept checking in with her for weeks. Friendly reminders, gentle nudges, quiet desperation, nothing. So I stayed up through the night and did it myself. Again, I was exhausted, burnt out, but I didn't want to fail. I told our advisor what happened, and the only consequence was that she was asked to pay for the software we used. That's it. That was the extent of her contribution, a single subscription fee. But I still didn't give up on her. I thought maybe, just maybe, she could handle the next part, the presentation for our thesis defense. I asked her to take full responsibility for it, make the slides, write the script. It was her turn to carry something, but on the day of our defense, the slides weren't finished. I stood in the room, panic rising in my throat, trying to salvage what she hadn't done. She walked in 90 minutes late, casually handed me a script that covered barely 20 of our 45-plus slides, and just sat down. The humiliation hit like a wave. That was the moment something shifted, not just in our partnership, in me. After the defense, the panel gave us feedback. Redo the encoding. Rewrite chapters 3 and 4 separately so we could compare and merge them into one cohesive version. I started my revisions immediately. She did nothing. For weeks, I messaged her, checked in, asked for progress, encouraged her. All I got were vague replies. Yeah, I'll do it. But nothing ever followed. Just silence. Meanwhile, I'd see her posting Facebook stories, sharing memes, living her life. I was living in a deadline spiral, and she was scrolling through hers. I kept trying to justify it. Maybe she's overwhelmed. Maybe the kid is sick. Maybe work is crushing her. But then again, I'm overwhelmed too. I'm working night shifts. I have bills. I have responsibilities. And still, I show up. I do the work. I show respect. She showed none. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to let her graduate on my back. I went to our advisor and asked if I could submit the thesis under my name only. If that request was granted, it would mean she wouldn't graduate. It was a harsh move. I knew that. I thought about it for days before making the call, but I couldn't carry her one more time. Word got out. Friends started whispering. Some told me I was being too harsh, that I should just carry her to the finish line one last time, that I was ruining her future, that she was a mom. She had it hard. She needed help. And part of me wanted to cave, but the other part, the one buried under months of stress, sleepless nights, and emotional labor, it whispered back, "What about your future? Why is it always on the responsible one to be the savior? Why do we ask so little of the people who give nothing, and so much of those who give everything?" I didn't make her miss deadlines. I didn't stop her from opening a document. I didn't ask her to skip every responsibility and show up empty-handed. She did that every time. All I did was stop pretending that it was okay. I brought receipts to my advisor, screenshots, time-stamped messages, draft logs, edit histories that showed only my name. She had every chance to do the work. She chose not to. And the truth is, if she does graduate, if she gets handed the same credential I do, with none of the work, I'd be complicit in a lie. And I won't do that. Not to myself. Not to the value of the degree. Not to the people who sacrificed everything to get where I am. Still, it's not easy. I think about the kid. I think about how this might affect her life. But then I think about all the nights I spent hunched over my laptop while my vision blurred from exhaustion. The hours of encoding. The panic before the defense. The tears I hid after fixing the slides she didn't bother to finish. And I remember something important. Compassion does not mean surrender. Boundaries are not cruelty. Telling the truth isn't punishment. It's protection. So, am I the asshole? Maybe, to the people who never had to carry anyone but themselves. But to the version of me who was breaking under the weight of someone else's neglect, I was the only person who finally showed up for him. And that has to count for something. There's a moment in every story where silence becomes betrayal, where protecting someone else starts costing you too much of yourself. This wasn't just about a thesis. It was about boundaries, about self-respect, about learning that empathy and accountability are not opposites. They're partners. Real compassion isn't about letting people walk all over you. It's about believing that everyone deserves the dignity of responsibility. And sometimes that includes letting people face the consequences of their own choices. To those listening, have you ever been in a group project, a job, a relationship, where someone expected you to carry the whole thing? Did you speak up? Or did you let it slide just to keep the peace? Leave a comment. Tell us about a time you stood your ground or wish you had. And remember this, you are not responsible for someone else's laziness, but you are responsible for your own worth. This is AITA Stories. And this story wasn't just about schoolwork. It was about survival. We'll see you in the next one.